At the foot of the mountain in the northern suburbs of Beijing, the capital city of China, there is an imperial cemetery built hundreds of years ago. Because 13 emperors of the Ming Dynasty were buried here, it is called the 13 Tombs. 4 of the 13 imperial tombs are open to tourists, and one of them was excavated half a century ago, and the underground palace was opened. This excavated tomb is the Dingling Mausoleum that we will explore in this series, which was the resting place of Emperor Wan Li of the Ming Dynasty. In this episode, we will see the cemetery gate, stone statues, and other buildings. "40 kilometers north of the center of Beijing, there is an area of imperial tombs of the Ming Dynasty. The Ming Dynasty ruled China from 1368 to 1644, and 13 of the 16 emperors were buried here. The area of this cemetery is very large, reaching 40 square kilometers. This stone archway is the frontmost building in the mausoleum area, about 29 meters wide and 12 meters high. It was built during the Jiajing period, which was the beginning of the 16th century, and has a history of about 500 years. In ancient Chinese architecture, stone archways, as ceremonial buildings, usually mark the starting point of the building complex. 1 kilometer to the north is the main entrance of the entire cemetery. It should be pointed out that hundreds of years ago, high walls were built on both sides of the main entrance to surround the entire mausoleum area. The area within the main entrance was prohibited for civilians. Now those walls no longer exist. This is one of the earliest buildings in the entire cemetery and has a history of more than 600 years. The largest arch in the middle was used for the coffin to pass through when the emperor passed away. When the successor emperor came to worship his ancestors, he would pass through the archway on the right, and other members of the imperial family and officials would pass through the archway on the left. Other staff could only pass through the side door, which no longer exists. These people were not eligible to pass through the main entrance. This is the reflection of the ancient Chinese hierarchy. Holes in the walls and floors indicate there once was a large door. Ancient Chinese buildings often have an invisible central axis, and the buildings on both sides are usually symmetrical. The road we are taking now is the central axis of the cemetery. But the difference in the mausoleum architecture is that this central axis would be called the sacred way, which was the path that the soul of the deceased emperor walked. Walking another kilometer further, we can see a huge arch-style building surrounded by 4 stone pillars. The stone pillar is nearly 11 meters high. This is a ceremonial structure that can only be used by the imperial family. This arch-style building is 25 meters high. We call it the Stele Pavilion. Inside stands a 7-meter-high stone tablet, which records the life achievements of Emperor Zhu Di of the Ming Dynasty. Zhu Di was the 3rd emperor of the Ming Dynasty. He reigned for 22 years and died in 1424. He was the first Ming Dynasty emperor buried in this cemetery. It was during his reign that Beijing became the capital city. As we continue walking along the Sacred Way, we can see many stone statues on both sides of the road. The history of placing stone statues in cemeteries can be traced back to the Qin and Han dynasties more than 2,000 years ago. These stone statues are the guardians of the tomb and also show the extraordinary status of the tomb owner. Here we can see 24 stone animals and 12 stone men. They are all in pairs. There are 6 kinds of stone animals, 4 of each kind, 2 standing and 2 kneeling. Among them are 2 mythical animals, Qilin and Xie. They all look like unicorns. Qilin is considered an auspicious animal. Xie has a unique skill. It can tell whether a person is decent or evil. If it is an evil person, it will attack that person with a horn on its head. In ancient China, there were no clear rules as to which animal and human statues could be used in mausoleums. The reason why these animals were used here was simply because Zhu Yuanzhang, the founding emperor of the Ming Dynasty, used these animals in his mausoleum in Nanjing. Ancient Chinese people often followed the practices of their ancestors. These 12 human statues include 2 pairs of military generals, 2 pairs of civil officials, and 2 pairs of meritorious officials. These stone statues are beautifully carved, and stone statues of this level can only be seen in the imperial cemetery. Although stone statues can also be used in the tombs of high-ranking officials, the quantity and quality are much lower. This is another reflection of ancient Chinese hierarchy. After being greeted by the stone statues, we can see a stone gate. According to legend, this gate is the boundary between the human world and the underworld. After passing this gate, we will officially enter the mausoleum area. It should be noted that each of the 13 mausoleums here should have its own set of stone statues. However, for some complicated reasons, after Zhu Di's mausoleum was built, no stone statues were constructed in subsequent mausoleums. Therefore, these stone statues became public structures for the 13 tombs. From the map, the Sacred Way looks like the trunk of a tree, and the 13 tombs look like branches. The next place we are going to is Dingling, 4 kilometers away, which is this place. In the next episode, we will see the buildings in Dingling.